Hi, today I wanted to share with everyone, before I head out riding here on the tracks, just a few of the improvements or modifications I made to my KTM 2016 350 SXF motorcycle, the crazy aggressive machine that keeps me in shape, or is going to kill me, one of the two, injure me, I don't say that. So the stock bike is an amazing bike right out of the factory, but one of the problems that I run into as a rider who is 6'2" tall is that the bikes are all primarily engineered and designed for shorter riders. Most of the pro motocross and AMA riders are of shorter stature. They have a lower center of gravity, and I don't want to say they have an advantage, but you tend to find that most of the pro riders are of shorter stature, and the bikes are coming out of the factory designed for them. So when you have a rider that's above 6 foot tall, or in my case I'm 6'2", and I have an arm span of a 6'5" person, I tend to be hunched over a lot or feel cramped up with my arms smashed up against my chest. So here are some of the mods that I'd actually made last night. One of the first things I did is I put on new foot pegs. These pegs are both wider and in both directions, and these Air EXT pegs actually have an extension off the back of the peg. So for me as an amateur rider, as I'm learning to jump and I'm coming up short on all the jumps, hitting hard, coming down hard, my ankle has a little more support there, so hopefully it has less chance of rolling off the back. And then with the wider footprint of the peg itself, I have a little bit more to stand on. Also, these pegs can be mounted with the bushing here in two positions. The position I've got it in actually brings the peg backward and down, because where it mounts on the bike is actually slanted downward. So by bringing it backward and down, I get my legs a little closer to the ground, and hence I'm less crunched. And also the peg is back further from the gear shifter. And that is a huge benefit for me, because whenever I have my foot in here with I've got a size 13 boot, that motocross boot underneath here with the size 13, with that peg forward, is very difficult for me to get my foot in and out of there all the time. So I often find myself, I would come out of a jump, I'd come down on the gear shift lever, and I tried to move the foot back, but then I had to stand on the ball of my foot instead of the arch of my foot, so I had less support when I was coming down on the jump. So with this modification here, I look forward to trying it out today on the track to see if it really pays off as I think it does. Another modification that I've made to the bike is I've put risers on the handlebars, on the handlebar mount, and I actually replaced the handlebar mount with a more firm and rigid mount. That was recommended to me by my favorite KTM dealer, Todd Tarver with KTM of North Texas, who actually gave me these graphics free of charge. I put those on last night too. I'm pretty happy with how they turned out, because I've been scared to death of things like window tint and stickers pretty much my whole life, because I always end up with bubbles in them. Little Windex helped quite a bit. But back on the handlebars here, Todd recommended that I go with a stiffer, more rigid handlebar mount, because the stock KTM one can sometimes bend, and considering I'm coming down hard on a lot of the jumps, I definitely want something that can take the force. So I replaced that handlebar mount with an aftermarket one, and then put these risers on here, and that actually brings the handlebars upward more. Another thing that I did is I actually, if you look at it here, yeah, I know it looks goofy, and for all the riders out there that are not an amateur like me, you're probably saying right now, you're going to move your handlebars back down where they belong. In I've actually rolled the handlebars upward. And I don't know how it's going to ride. I'll find out today. But the reason I did that is because I wanted to see if I can get up here without falling off the stand, because it's kind of cockeyed right now. I wanted to be on the bike and be able to sit up straight with my elbows out and be in the attack position. I also wanted to be able to move up far forward and be able to push all of my weight on the front, towards the front of the bike, per some of the techniques that riders use. But I couldn't do that before with the handlebars down in here, because I found that they were right here in my lap. And you really can't control a motorcycle when your handlebars are in your lap. But if you look up here, I can actually get into the attack position and have a firm and rigid frame here with my elbows up higher. So by putting the handlebars in this position, I'm hoping that as a tall rider with long arms, I'm going to have more leverage on the bike. I also checked it out when I'm in the standing position to make sure that I felt comfortable there, and indeed I do, but you know, that is only comfort in the garage. So we'll see how that handlebar position works as I get out on the track. Let's see here. I think that, the one other final thing that I did here is I put a KTM Power Cards aftermarket seat on. This seat has thicker foam. It's taller. So having a taller seat is going to get me up higher, and hence my legs are going to be less cramped, and I'll have just a little more breathing room. So now when I sit on the bike, when you combine all these mods together, I feel extremely comfortable. I don't feel cramped, whereas before I just could never get into the proper riding position, and I always found myself with my butt on the back of the seat. And you don't always want to be on the back of the seat. Matter of fact, a lot of times you need to be up here in a center position. So we'll find out how they work today. Again, I want to thank Todd Tarver for these graphics here. He gave them to me free of charge. He's a great guy. He didn't sponsor this video, so I don't want you to think that I'm just making these comments about him just because I got something for free. I wouldn't do that. He's a great guy, and KTM of North Texas, SLM Racing, SLM Graphics, great business, great guys, and I would definitely recommend going to them. And without a doubt, I would take these modifications to the bike if you're a tall rider. Have a good day. Let's go riding.